A customer sent in a relay board for a Nuova Simonelli espresso machine, and we're going to be fixing it. Taking a closer look at the circuit board, we actually have a missing relay here. I have my replacement that we're going to be installing today, and the customer had initially said on the back side there were some cracked solder joints over here, and had brought it to a local repairman who unfortunately ended up causing more damage to the device than fixing it. So they ended up sending it to us for repair, and it looks like I'm noticing a few different things. I believe over here is the actual initial damage. There was a cracked solder joint that ended up arcing and burning some of the trace, and that's why the trace is broken here. This one will have to rebuild a little bit as well. We probably don't have to do too much there. This one is, the trace is completely missing, but it looks like it's a no connect on the back. And this one over here, the trace got ripped. So we'll have to both connect the leg of the relay and rebridge and remake contact with the other side of the trace. Now taking a look at the front side, I'm noticing over here, we're supposed to have a trace go around and connect to the relay pin, and that trace is completely removed, so it was ripped out. So we're gonna have to go ahead and fix that. And these are no connect, and these will connect here on the top, but those traces look okay. Now for this trace over here, it's gonna be a little bit tricky to solder because when I have my relay installed, I'm not gonna be able to actually access that and put my soldering iron between the leg and the trace because of course the relay will be covering it. So what I'm gonna try and do is see if I can actually solder the leg from the backside. So what I'm going to do here is make sure that this pad here that follows the trace to the relay pin is accessible from the back. And it looks like it is right here. So instead of soldering it from the front, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wire and I'm going to wire it from the back from this trace to the pin over here. All right, so let's go ahead and put in our relay and we'll flip the board over. What I'm going to do first is start by soldering down a few of the pins that do have traces in good condition so that I can more or less lock in the relay and not have to hold it from the back. So my next step is I want to connect this relay pin over here to this trace over here. So what we're going to need to do is expose a little bit more of the copper so that I can then wire it in. I'm going to go ahead and add some solder to both our exposed copper trace now as well as the relay. And what I'm doing here is I'm actually using a capacitor that I have on hand. I bent the end of one of the leads to be a little hook, and I'm going to use that as my jumper wire. So we're going to go ahead and solder that in right there and cut it off. And now I'm just going to bend this little excess here so that it matches with the trace. We're going to do a little bit of the same. We're going to expose a little bit more of the copper here. Everything looks pretty solid here. We have proper contact throughout. All right, and we're almost done. We're gonna do just one more over here, which is this relay leg to this point over here. So same as before, I'm making a little hook, and we're just gonna go ahead and solder it down. All right, and I'm not super happy with some of those joints, so let me add some flux and we'll make it nice and pretty. Okay, that looks a lot better. All right, and so does that. Let's do a quick check. Yep, everything feels very solid, so we're all good there. We're gonna go ahead and do just a little cleanup with some isopropyl alcohol and my little toothbrush. And finally, we're gonna be sealing it up. So I'm kind of running out. I'm gonna use a second one. They're both UV curable. They're just a little different color. And then finally, we're gonna be curing it with our UV light. All right, so that just finished curing. Now, something else I wanna look over real quick is we have a few over here, here, this one over here, and it's kind of hard to tell, but this one over here are solder joints that are starting to crack. So what we're going to do is with our soldering iron, we're going to go ahead and go over those. One of the things I'm going to do actually is do some preventative, so I'm going to go over a lot more than just those to ensure that the customer does not have any other issues or failures in the future. So we're just adding a little bit of new solder to all of these joints. And then again, just one final clean. So the relay board is all fixed up and the coffee shop can get back to their daily grind. If you enjoyed the content, if you found it helpful or useful, leave us a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.